Today is April 20, 2:27 p.m. We saw unusual options on First Republic Bank, that's FRC, and some of our subscribers were asking for an update, so we thought we'd do a video on this. You'll see that big crash here, and it's been consolidating, and so far not moving very much. So this anticipation for earnings coming up on April 24. So without further ado, let's take a look at what the options are telling us. So when we look at this options time and sales tape, what's actually unusual today was that these 15 strike calls for the April 28th, which was an earnings right after earnings. So this is an earnings kind of prediction. You'll see here that this 135 was actually executed at a bid-ask price of the same value. So it's quite indeterminate from here. The same thing with these other 15 strike calls you'll see here on that same date. Even though it says 125 here, you'll see that here being executed on the ask price here. However, then here at you see here at this 959 right at the bottom here, you'll see it being executed. This 135 now is being executed at the bid price, right? And right here is now its ask price. So these colors don't necessarily mean buy and sell, so don't get really hung up on the colors and attached to this idea of buying and selling just because green is buy or red is sell. It doesn't necessarily mean that. We'll put a link up for the video we made about what the colors mean. And so if you haven't watched that video, take a look at that. If your info cards are turned on, you'll see that link up here. And so for this options time and sales today, because you get a lot of this very tight, narrow bid-ask pricing and lots of these 15 strikes happening, when we look at that chain here, you'll see here the 15 strike here. Even though it is greater, we're not actually going to focus a lot of attention on this one because of how tight this spread is. We're going to actually look at something different. We're going to look up here. You'll see here on the put side here, you'll see this 6,700 here. This one is more unusual to us because this is greater, and also this side is also greater on the 8 strikes. So what we found from looking at these contracts was more of a clear signal that this was a bearish vertical spread here. This 12 strike, buying the 12 strikes. This is our position as well. We bought it and then we sold the 8 strikes. We actually already also have a 10 strike put from a previous analysis video. If you haven't watched that, we'll put that at the end of this video and the description below on our previous FRC options analysis when we did this strike. But for this one, where you buy the 12 strikes and you sell the 8 strikes, it's going for about $80 now. And this is what it looks like per contract. You'll see the max loss is 80 because this is a vertical bearish put spread. And if it drops to 10, it's 113. Let's make sure to get that expiration towards the, let's say earnings is April 25. So it's about that, around that. So if it drops, it has the potential to make up to 320 as the maximum profit. And so the max loss is 80. So we like that risk to reward. You'll see the 320, that's a risk to reward ratio of 4. So it's a 1-to-4, risk 1 to make 4. We like that, especially for a stock like this where it's crashed and there's lots of uncertainty with this bank, that it could go either way, right? It could either go this way after earnings or that way. It's a kind of like a lottery ticket. No one really exactly knows what's going to happen, right? Is it up or is it down? It's a big question here, right? And so if you take on a trade that is a risk 1 to make 4, you're basically putting the kind of the odds in your favor now because of this kind of probability. The other thing you can also do to increase this probabilities, you can also then, what we may probably will do is also buy some calls too on this side just to reduce our risk. Yeah, we may also consider some of these other strikes as we get closer to expiration. We'll be monitoring this. So make sure you subscribe and you hit the bell icon. So if we see any other changes going on, we may actually go bullish and attach a hedge to our shorts. Okay. Yeah, so I hope this was helpful. If it was, please give us a like.